Sometime back, I did a video talking about 10 characters we don't know a lot about. Today, I will be continuing that with 6 more characters we still don't know a lot about. At this point in time, Genshin is still a pretty big mystery box, even with the lore dumped from Economia. With the other half of 2.4, we are getting a lot more. And this was written before the lore dropped, by the way. I will be doing another video on Economia in due time. These 6 characters, though, in some cases, we know a bit about them. But at the same time, even with characters we do know, they are still shrouded in mystery. Today, let's take a look at more characters and delve into the mysteries of them. But first, before we begin though, if you enjoy Teyvat's Facts and Wisdom, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. After the video is over, join us over in our community Discord server, where we talk all about Genshin, including lore. We're also going to be streaming on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 PM PST. But anywho, with that said, let's open the Teyvattionary and see what's been uncovered. Starting off this list of mysterious characters, we have our first entry being Sino. Sino debuts in Chapter 12 of the Genshin Impact manga, and we have yet to see him make his debut in-game. Sino is an individual from Sumeru who wears Egyptian-based attire, looking very closely to the god Anubis, the Egyptian god of mummification, or the god of the dead. Now, based on his design, it begs the question of, is Sumeru going to have Egyptian ties? Sumeru, as we know, has a lot of ties to Mesopotamia, Babylon, Persian, and Hindu ties. With the appearance of Sino, I'm going to think that Egyptian ties will be present as well. I love Egypt, so that would be really awesome. There has been speculation of Sino perhaps being some kind of tombkeeper as well. He's a very mysterious and aloof person and tends to keep things clear and concise. He seems to also be cold in a sense, at first due to him wanting to turn Amber into a pig. However, he does agree to help Klee with the sealing of her Archon residue. He does indeed help with that when he does the sealing at Starsnatch Cliff. In the ritual, he uses some kind of ancient language, so it really begs the question of what or who he is, despite him being from the Sumeru Academia. The Archon dust is successfully sealed for Klee though. However, there is a caveat. If the Archon dust ever gets released, Kole's consciousness will get completely consumed. As we know, the Sumeru Academia has sages, and Sino is more than likely one of the younger sages, as he was sent by his master. This implies his master is probably much older. Due to him being one of those sages though, this is just the surface on Sino though. He's very mysterious, and we hardly have any lore on him. I will say though, there is a very informative video done by BitShark, and he explains everything you need to know about Sino in depth. So I will leave his video in the description below. Up next at 5, we now dive into Klee. Klee, as we know, had Archon residue implanted into her. She was born a sickly child, and with that, her parents took her to the seer known as Barnabas. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw him, this dude reeked of being scum of the earth. He even lied to Kole's parents, saying she was touched by a div, or an evil supernatural creature in Persian folklore. Little did Klee or her parents know though, Barnabas was working with one of the Fatui harbingers known as Dottore, and we know that he is known for his wicked human experiments. With these messed up experiments done to her, Kole's entire personality changed, and with that, she began to find destruction in everything she touched. She hated the gods and questioned the greed of them. Why were the exiles denied their love when they didn't do anything wrong? Wherever she went, she was mistreated. She had a very rough patch in her life. She pushes herself away from people, stating that she is unclean, therefore being unworthy of their time. Klee eventually arrives in Mondstadt, but she was at first denied by them. Her wrath then turned into dark serpentine flames, thus killing 2 Fatui envoys in the process. She then meets Amber, who shows her a different kind of affection that she is not used to. Amber shows her the biggest love, and slowly but surely, Klee starts to open up to her. Amber helps Klee realize that she is a human being and not what she perceives herself as. From there, they learn about Kole's curse, and with the help of Sino, they are able to get her curse sealed up. and more or less under control. Oh, and Barnabas also gets put to rest, which is definitely appealing because... With the help of Amber though, Klee sees a new meaning in her life, and decides to head to Sumeru with Sino to pursue a life of medicine. What's still interesting though, is the thought of delusions. With the information we know about them from Inazuma, I believe in due time we will learn more about them, and hopefully Klee will return with more juicy lore on this topic. Up next, we have Madame Ping. Madame Ping takes the appearance of an old lady in Liyue Harbor, and from what we know about her lore, she is actually an Adeptus. Firstly, let's dive into Madame Ping's history. Over 3,700 years ago, she was an Adeptus in the Guili Assembly, the civilization established by the gods Guizhong, Marcosius, and Morax. I actually have a pretty interesting what-if about Guizhong coming out very soon, so if you guys are interested in that, I highly recommend giving it a watch. I also wanted to give a congratulations to Osmanthus T for the Guizhong drawing competition in my Discord server. Their artwork is amazing. I will leave their portfolio in the description below. She apparently fought in the Archon War though to defend the civilization she was a part of. Unfortunately, as we know though, the assembly was destroyed, and thus Ping sought refuge in Liyue Harbor with the other survivors. In her youth, she describes herself as a vain beauty, who often eyed the cleansing bell owned by Morax. We, however, get this item from the fourth part in the Archon quest of Act 2, Farewell Archaic Lord. Today though, she occupies around Yuhai Pavilion, living inside her magic teapot, which I never use by the way. I need to get off my ass and make my teapot not look barren. She becomes Yanfei's caretaker though, and is also the martial arts master of Xianling and Yao Yao. Outside of this, she loves to reminisce about the past, and is often gazing and admiring the finest of glaze lilies, perhaps missing her beloved friend Guizhong. What's really peculiar though is this image of a young beautiful Adeptus holding onto the cleansing bell. I usually don't mention leaks here, but I am going to because I feel this is relevant. If you don't want to see this, I will leave a timestamp for you to skip. Okay, you've been warned. 2.7 is rumored to be releasing a character that goes by this name. She's rumored to be a Hydro Bow user or even a Polearm user. She could potentially even have the knowledge of the Guhua clan, as we can see a Polearm on her. The Polearm style of the Guhua style is known as Light Piercer. The most peculiar part though is that she is speculated to potentially be a young Madame Ping. So if that's the case, we got ourselves a young Genkai on our hands. Up next is a character we all knew decently well, at least until the start of Enka. On the surface, Kokami is the commander of the resistance in Inazuma, and for a period of time, the resistance of Sangonomiya fought the Tenryou Commission due to past drama. Kokami is known to be a master military strategist, and for a major part of her life, she read a lot of books into being a tactical supreme master. She's also the divine priestess of Watatsumi Island, and a descendant of the Sangonomiya clan. Other than the surface level stuff, I think we can all agree she has a killer design, and some of the deepest lore there is. Check this out. In Volume 5 of the Byakuya Koko Chronicles, it mentions this line of text. According to a prophecy of old, the Dragon of Water, the ancient lord of the Vishaps, will definitely descend in the form of a human. That text alone makes me suspect Kokami of having hidden origins. We might learn more about that once more Enkanomiya drops in part 2 probably. Up at the penultimate spot is our favorite Broke astrologist, Mona. Now, Mona on the surface is from Mondstadt, and she is a master at the art of hydromancy. Hydromancy is the art of being able to tell someone's fate by looking at the stars. We see this demonstrated to us in the Unreconciled Stars event, and we also find out her master is also a pro at hydromancy. Mona is a part of the unique circle of witches known as the Hexen Circle. These witches are known to be real detectives of the truth of the world in terms of Irminsul expeditions and tea parties. Mona's master is also likely to be a part of this bizarre group of witches, as well as Klee's mysterious mother, Alice. Finding out the truth of the world can be very costly, as I mentioned in my Lisa's Secret video. Before demanding too many miracles from the gods, first consider if you are willing to pay the price they ask. Who really knows about the information Mona and her company of witches has found? But I think the biggest question is, why is she always broke? Finally, at number 1, we have Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Dendro Archon. With Sumeru around the corner, the mysteries surrounding this individual are pretty big, especially with the text describing Sumeru from the Tevat chapter trailers. Kusanali is the youngest of the Archons, taking the spot of the previous Dendro Archon of 500 years ago, or the God of Woods. In my opinion, the previous Dendro Archon is still alive. I have an entire video explaining that aspect of Baiju. Kusanali's name comes from the Jataka. The Jataka is a series of 547 Hindu poems about previous births of the Buddha. The one that sticks out to me the most is definitely the Kusanali Jataka. There is a festival that takes place in Sumeru called the Sabzurus Festival. The festival is mentioned by the NPC Sayid, and he states it is to commemorate the birth of the Lesser Lord Kusanali, and that the atmosphere during the festival is somewhat different from the Windbloom Festival. The Kusanali Jataka speaks about how, however you pronounce this word, saved the tree spread's life from the king's carpenter trying to destroy the tree it lived in. So this could be an inspiration to the Lesser Lord Kusanali. It also kind of reminds me of the gardening keeper we found out about in the Byakuya Koko Chronicles. This story can definitely relate to the culture we see in Sumeru, and to me heavily points towards the Sabzurus festival in honoring some sort of other god. In Japanese translations, the festival translates to the Flower Archon / God Festival. Kusanali could just be a ploy for the absence of the previous Dendro Archon. Sumeru is going through a time right now where uninhibited erudition is going on, and it seems like Kusanali is doing nothing about it. Wisdom is the enemy itself, but we'll know about her once we reach Sumeru. One last piece of interesting information is from the NPC Vahid. Kusanali is the giver of the Anihishin Blessing, which is a fertilizer infused with elemental energy that grants vitality to the land. In Zoroastrianism, Anahita is the god of water, healing, fertility, and wisdom. Zoroastrianism also has another separate deity named Ahura Mazda, and the name translates to Lord of Wisdom. In different times, Ahura was worshipped alone, or in a triad with Anahita and Mithra, the god of contracts and light. Thank you, Genshin Wiki. This makes sense. Sumeru is known to be in a desert after all. With this blessing, it's probably the reason why Sumeru is a mix of lush rainforest and desert. Well, that wraps up 6 more mysterious characters. Of course, there are still a plethora of characters we don't know about yet, and as Genshin releases more content, we will learn more. With the big lore dump coming in the next updates, we are definitely going to be in for a lot of surprises. So, what do you guys think? What other mysterious characters are there? Be sure to let me know down below. With that said though, I'm going to close the Tevatchnary, and I will see you in the future for more Genshin Impact content and lore.